The Seattle Seahawks cheerleaders were the intended targets of a man with a video camera, but the plot was foiled by a sharp-eyed seagal, and now the alleged peeping Tom is in court. Welcome back to Court TV. I'm Raymond Brown. The defendant in this case was an electrician at the stadium. He says he hid a camera in the dressing room because he thought the seagulls would be nice to film. But one cheerleader spotted the recording equipment and alerted authorities. Randall Palmer turned himself in and was fired. He apologized for his actions, and he said he actually had a change of heart and was going to remove the camera. There's no law in Washington prohibiting secret videotaping, so Palmer's charged with one count of criminal trespass. The defense counters this charge by saying his job allowed him access to that part of the stadium.
I told the person next to me that the light covering on that particular light was different, and it kind of made me a little nervous. And so she stood up and looked in there and said, "There's a camera in there."
When you saw that camera, how did you feel?
Shocked.
Palmer readily admitted placing the camera in the ceiling. He was promptly fired and charged with criminal trespass, charges that could send Randall Palmer to prison for up to a year and subject him to a $5,000 fine.
Let's talk now to Amy Hogue, who joins us live in Los Angeles. She's one of the lead counsels for the tabloid paper The Globe. She's also represented all three major television networks in over 30 defamation and invasion of privacy cases. You know, I bet if we took a poll, everybody would say, yeah, it's got to be illegal to be a peeping Tom and to use hidden cameras in the privacy of one's home or business. How come it isn't?
Well, it is illegal. It just is not generally a criminal violation. There are certainly civil remedies for that kind of activity, but most of the criminal statutes are really aimed at eavesdropping and wiretapping and at technology older than the videotaping that was at issue in the Palmer case.
You know, Frank Gifford got into a bit of a pickle when he was apparently videotaped with someone other than his wife in a hotel room. Was that illegal?
That was not illegal because in the state where the videotaping occurred, as long as one person to the communication consents to the videotaping, it's perfectly legal for the videotaping to occur. And the woman with whom Mr. Gifford was visiting had consented and in fact arranged for the videotaping.
Do you think that's right?
Well, whether it's right or wrong, it's certainly the law in most states that only one party needs to consent.
Yeah, but I know, but what do you think? Do you think that's right? Do you think it's fair? Do you think it's just?
I think it's fair in those states where the law is on the books in that fashion.
Amy, you don't really mean that now, do you? Come on, that can't be right.
If you wanted to videotape or record for your own purposes a conversation to hear what you had to say to someone else and make sure you had a record of it, don't you think that would be fair?
Your Honor, in counsel's closing arguments, he at first initially mentioned about what my client, Mr. Palmer, had testified to and what his statements were, in kind of an indirect way implying that Mr. Palmer either did or did not take the stand in his own defense. Counsel knows it is his constitutional right protected by the United States Constitution where he does not have to take the stand and testify against himself, and it should never be used against him, and that is the cardinal rule in the courtroom. And he went further to right in front of this jury to blatantly instruct this jury that the defendant had not testified in this case, and began to then explain to the jury what some of the statements that he made were. Now, based on that, Your Honor, based on that clear and unethical violation of the rules, we immediately moved for a mistrial and for dismissal with prejudice of this case.
And what of the tantalizing video that was the object of Palmer's detailed planning and determined effort? We'll never know. The only thing Palmer succeeded in recording was himself setting up the camera. That was before Palmer accidentally shut the camera off prior to the seagulls even entering their dressing room.
We saw the video. I don't see what the big deal is. There was nothing on the video. He never videotaped anybody but himself. He caught himself on the video. How stupid.
Defense attorney John Downey doesn't deny his client attempted to make the video, but he does challenge the notion that his client was trespassing.
Of course, this conduct was improper. However, in the state of Washington, it was not illegal, and at best, it was an unauthorized act. However, if the state's theory holds water, then what we have is we have employers with the ability now to charge each employee that has violated a provision or policy of the employer. they can now charge them with criminal trespass.